The government intends to leverage the current discovery of mineral resources in parts of the country for the manufacturing of solar batteries.
Chances are, you're seeing more and more electric cars on the road. The batteries that power this green revolution, the very heart of our cleaner future, all depend on one crucial metal, nickel. For generations, the story of minerals like this has been the same. Immense wealth flows out of Africa, while the profits build cities thousands of miles away. It's a story of holes in the ground, of raw earth loaded onto ships, and of potential shipped away before it could ever be realized at home. But what if that story could finally be rewritten? In Ghana, a massive commercial-grade discovery of nickel has just been announced. And this time, the government is sending a crystal-clear message to the world. The wealth from this discovery will stay home. This isn't just about finding treasure. It's about a nation making a high-stakes bet to reclaim its economic destiny. And it could change everything. It's a bold declaration that Ghana is done being a quarry. It wants to be a factory, a laboratory, and a superpower in the new energy economy. In the quiet hills of Ghana's Oti region, a team of geologists was looking for iron. The government-run Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation, GISTEC, was doing routine exploration, mapping out the nation's resources for a future industrial plan. But then they found something they weren't looking for, something that would send ripples across the globe. As they drilled, their scanners started lighting up with something else mixed in the ore. It was nickel. And not just a little. The initial samples showed nickel concentrations hitting over 1%. Now, 1% might not sound like a lot, but in the mining world, that number is electric. It's the line between a geological curiosity and a commercially viable, mineable deposit. It's the kind of number that makes investors, automakers, and governments pick up the phone. The Ghana Geological Survey Authority confirmed it. They found nickel in all 8 of their first drill holes. A senior geoscientist on the team said the concentrations are firmly in the economic range, and in some cases even higher. This wasn't a fluke. It was a consistent, widespread deposit of a metal the world is desperate for. This discovery, announced in April 2025, couldn't have come at a better time. Nickel is the silent workhorse of the EV revolution. It's a key ingredient in the high-performance batteries that power most electric cars. More nickel means more range, the holy grail for EV makers. As the world races to ditch gasoline, the demand for high-grade nickel is set to explode. And Ghana just found itself sitting on a potential treasure chest of the future. But what makes this truly different is how it was found. This discovery was made by Ghanaian institutions during a Ghanaian-led survey for a Ghanaian development project. No foreign company stumbled upon it and got to dictate the terms. From day one, Ghana has been in control of the narrative. The CEO of GISTEC, William Okofu-Date, immediately set the tone. He made it clear Ghana would not be rushed or let this become another accidental giveaway. We have found iron ore in good quantities, but we do not want a situation where an investor comes in for iron ore and then unexpectedly benefits from nickel as well, he said. His words were a clear signal of a paradigm shift. We want to know the full picture, he continued. What minerals are here, in what quantities and of what quality, before we make decisions. To that end, GISTEC is running a full, comprehensive analysis of the minerals, with certified lab results expected by September 2025. This will be the ultimate proof. They're not just confirming the nickel, they're creating a detailed 3D map of every valuable resource in the ground. This methodical, science-led approach is a declaration. It says, we know what we have, we know what it's worth, and we will decide its future. To understand why Ghana is being so deliberate, you have to look at the painful history. There's a name for it across the continent, the resource curse. It's a cruel paradox. The idea that countries with incredible natural wealth, oil, diamonds, minerals, often end up with struggling economies, more corruption, and less development than countries with far fewer resources. For Africa, this isn't a theory, it's a lived reality. For centuries, the story was one of pure extraction. Colonial powers built railways and ports for one reason: to get resources out of Africa and into European factories as efficiently as possible. When independence came, the system didn't really change. Foreign corporations just replaced colonial officers, but the business model of shipping away raw, unprocessed materials stayed the same. You don't have to look far for an example. For over a century, Ghana was called the Gold Coast. It's Africa's biggest gold producer, generating billions. But has that gold wealth truly transformed the nation? The answer is complicated. Many mining communities in Ghana are still stuck in poverty. The curse shows up in a few ways. First, the economy gets warped. Relying on one commodity like gold makes you a hostage to fluctuating global prices, while other important sectors like farming and manufacturing get ignored. Then there's the environmental toll. Large-scale mining leaves permanent scars on the land, polluting rivers and soil with toxic chemicals. Just look at Indonesia, the world's top nickel producer. Unregulated mining there has led to massive deforestation and turned coastal waters red, destroying fisheries and causing health crises. That's the environmental bill that's never included in the price of the raw ore. And maybe the worst part is the challenge to governance. The flood of money from mining can fuel corruption. Power becomes about controlling the mineral wealth, not about building a healthy country for everyone. So, the skepticism from the Ghanaian public is real. They've seen this movie before with gold. Why should nickel be any different? This is the ghost haunting this new discovery. The fear isn't just about getting a bad price. It's about the whole cycle repeating. A foreign company brings the money and tech, cuts a deal that favors them, hires a few locals, and ships the raw nickel ore to be processed in a smelter in Asia or Europe. All the real value, the profit from turning ore into battery-grade metal, is made somewhere else. Ghana would be left with a hole in the ground, a few royalty checks, and a massive environmental cleanup bill. This is the exact neo-colonial cycle that Ghanaian leaders are now determined to break. They're looking at their history with gold and saying never again. This isn't just another mining story, it's a chess move. Facing this incredible opportunity, but haunted by the past, Ghana isn't just hoping for a different result, it's engineering one. The government's response is a calculated strategy to tear down the old extraction model. The heart of this entire plan can be boiled down to two words: value addition. Value addition is the simple, yet revolutionary, idea that the real money isn't in the rock you dig up. It's in what you turn that rock into. Ghana is done being a quarry. The plan is to build the factories inside Ghana to process that nickel ore into the high-value products the world wants. So, what does this actually look like? The nickel found in OT is a type of ore that requires a complex chemical process to get the good stuff out. One of the main methods is called high-pressure acid leaching, or HPAL. It's a sophisticated technique that turns the raw ore into purified products like nickel sulfate, a key ingredient for EV batteries, or even pure nickel metal. Each step adds huge value. Raw ore might sell for a certain price, but battery-grade nickel sulfate is worth many, many times more. The government's plan is to capture that entire value chain on home soil. And this isn't just talk. Ghana has been quietly laying the groundwork for this moment. In 2023, the government passed a green minerals policy, specifically designed to manage metals like lithium and nickel. Its goal isn't just money, but local participation and, crucially, promoting value addition. We're already seeing this policy in action with other minerals. Ghana has massive reserves of bauxite, the ore for aluminum, but it was always exported raw. Now, the government is moving to ban the export of raw bauxite, forcing companies to build refineries in the country. It's a playbook that has worked before. Indonesia banned raw nickel exports in 2014, and it forced a wave of investment in domestic smelters, making them the world's dominant nickel powerhouse. Ghana has clearly been taking notes. The government is also being smart about how it's organized. GISTEC is the central command for this strategy. As its CEO explained, their mandate covers iron, steel, and related minerals like nickel. This prevents different agencies from being played against each other by foreign interests. They're not just looking at a nickel deposit, they're looking at an entire industrial ecosystem. By doing their own homework and mapping out the resources, they flip the entire power dynamic. They will walk into negotiations armed with the same data as any investor, or maybe even better data. Ghana will no longer be a passive price taker. It will be the one setting the terms. This is how you turn a finite resource into a lasting industrial base. Ghana isn't just digging for nickel, it's digging for a new economic future. Before we get into what this means for the rest of the world, let us know what you think. This is a huge gamble with massive risks and even bigger rewards. Can Ghana's strategy succeed where others have failed? What do you see as the biggest hurdles? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Ghana's strategy isn't happening in a bubble. It's a bold move on a global chessboard, and it's set to send shockwaves through the world of critical minerals. This isn't just a domestic policy. It's a direct challenge to the powers that control the battery supply chain. Right now, the nickel market is controlled by a handful of players. Indonesia is the undisputed heavyweight, producing almost half the world's supply. The Philippines, Russia, and Canada are next. This concentration is a huge risk. A war, a policy change, or an environmental disaster in any one of those places can cause global prices to spike, giving EV makers nightmares. Ghana's entry offers something the market craves: diversification. A new major source of nickel from a stable democracy in West Africa is an incredibly attractive idea for Western companies trying to make their supply chains more secure. But Ghana's plan to process the nickel in country is what really changes the game. It challenges the global supply chain's very structure. For decades, the model has been simple. The Global South provides the raw materials, and China acts as the world's refinery, processing them into high-purity metals. Ghana's plan to build its own refineries is a direct threat to that model. It's a declaration that they intend to compete not at the bottom of the ladder, but in the middle and at the top. If Ghana succeeds, it won't be exporting cheap ore. It will be exporting high-value nickel sulfate directly to car makers in Europe and North America. It means bypassing the middleman and capturing a much bigger slice of the profit. Imagine you're running Tesla or Volkswagen. You're desperate to lock in a stable, long-term, and ethically sourced supply of nickel. Ghana could soon be in a position to offer you a 10-year contract for high-purity nickel sulfate, processed under high environmental standards. That's a compelling offer. It supplies security with a great story of African industrialization, a big win for investors and customers. This also aligns perfectly with what the US and the EU are trying to do with laws like the Inflation Reduction Act and the Critical Raw Materials Act. They want to build secure supply chains with friendly nations. Ghana is basically raising its hand and saying, "We're the solution to your problem." Of course, the challenges are enormous. An HPAL plant can cost billions and requires huge amounts of reliable energy. This is a massive hurdle. But again, Ghana's strategy gives it leverage to attract the right kind of partners who are willing to invest in technology transfer and real development. And they have to get the environmental piece right. Nickel processing can be toxic if it's not managed with world-class regulations. To be a premium supplier, Ghana must prove that it can add value sustainably. The gamble is huge, but the prize is the transformation of an entire economy. By refusing to just be a source of raw materials, Ghana is trying to leapfrog decades of development and become an essential player in the most important industrial revolution of our time. Ghana's big bet isn't just being watched by corporations, it's being watched by the entire African continent. This move is being seen as a potential blueprint for how other nations can finally break the resource curse. The story is painfully familiar across Africa. The Democratic Republic of Congo has most of the world's cobalt, but is one of the poorest countries on Earth. Guinea has mountains of bauxite, but sees little of the final aluminum wealth. Ghana's nickel strategy, combined with its plans for its lithium industry, is creating a powerful new narrative. It suggests that with smart planning and strong governance, you can rewrite the rules. If Ghana can pull this off, if it can build the refineries, train its people, and sign deals with the big players, it will provide a powerful practical example for its neighbors. Success would send a message to the world that Africa is no longer content to just supply the raw materials for others to get rich. It's ready to build, to innovate, and to lead. This is how one discovery in a quiet region could spark an economic revolution across a continent. Ghana is at a crossroads, choosing between a well-worn path of exploitation and a new, uncertain road to economic independence. The discovery of nickel isn't the real story here. Discoveries happen. The true game changer is the plan. The conscious, strategic decision to reject the century-old model and build something new. It's a high-stakes gamble that requires massive capital, ironclad political will, and near-flawless execution. The challenges are real. But for the first time in a long time, the story feels different. The conversation, led by Ghanaians, is about ownership, strategy, and vision. It's about turning a hole in the ground into the foundation of a new economy. The world is watching. Car makers, battery giants, and superpowers are all paying close attention to what happens next in the hills of the Oti region. The discovery isn't the game changer. Ghana's plan for it is. The real question is, can they pull it off? Let us know what you think in the comments.